So I wanted to talk to you about this new wave of Democrats that we're seeing. This is not your grandparents' Democrat. For those of you who don't know, I'll just start off by saying the Democratic Party is the party of Jim Crow. It is the party of the KKK. It was formed to suppress Republicans, black Republicans more specifically, from voting and just from, everything. That's why we have the KKK and the Jim Crow laws that were in the South. But this new Democratic Party is beyond Jim Crow. It's beyond the KKK. It's far, far, far worse than what you might imagine. This new Democratic Party that we're seeing is completely Marxist. If you all are not familiar with Karl Marx, he was a communist. His whole ideology was based on full government control. And I don't just mean government control in just kind of this distant kind of abstract way, but I mean actual full government control, like what you see in a lot of communist countries today, namely Cuba. With the Castro regime, what you saw was full government control, kicking in doors of people's businesses, telling them that this now belongs to the government, kicking in the doors of people's homes, telling them this property belongs to the government and we will redistribute it as we see fit, and literally taking from the citizens because they felt like there were poorer people who deserved it more than the people who actually worked and earned it did. So they decided they were going to redistribute wealth. And so that was, Castro's Cuba, right? In short, is that it was full government control. People actually had to, after they stole people's property, they actually gave people an option to buy it back from the government. So they kick in the door, tell the people they're taking the property, steal it from them, and then say, oh, okay, if you want this, you have to buy it back. So that is the party of the Democrats that we are looking at today. Just so you guys know, if you didn't know, now you know that is the party. So all of the reparations, you were hearing talk about reparations, talk about making the rich pay more, making them pay their fair share. Like all of these are not new ideologies. These are not new by any means. These are the same types of tactics that communist regimes use in order to get the people on board, right? Get the people feeling like they're entitled to something, get them feeling like your neighbor has oppressed you because of X, Y, and Z. So you deserve what they have, because if they had not oppressed you, then they wouldn't be where they are. And so just this idea of you're entitled to something because your neighbor has wronged you. That's essentially what they're saying. So it's this idea of implosion. You get the people to fight amongst each other. You get them to hate each other, and break any idea of a family or a community, right? You break up the people, they're a lot easier to take over. That's why there's such a big fight for Second Amendments. People think, people just want to, white people just want to keep their guns, and no, the Second Amendment is there not just for us to protect ourselves from the crazy loony down the street who wants to, break in our home, but also to protect us from foreign and domestic terror. So that means that if a communist ideology presents itself within our political system, and tries to attempt kicking in doors and taking people's properties, we have the right to protect ourselves. So this is very dangerous ideology that we're up against. This isn't, you can think of it in terms of like, the civil rights era, right? And like I talked about before, Jim Crow and KKK. This is further reaching. Communism seeks to not just take your property, it seeks to tell you how you should live, and not just tell you how you should live, but make you live the way it sees fit, the way the government sees fit. Kind of like the one child policy, just like the one child policy that from China, where if the government finds out that you're pregnant and you have, let's say, and you have a kid, they force you, not ask, not suggest, not recommend, they force you to abort. This is what we're talking about here. If you guys don't know, this is the kind of tyranny that we're talking about from the Democratic Party that's happening today. All the fascism, you see signs with, people holding up saying Trump's a socialist or Trump's a fascist. Fascism is someone who tries to prohibit freedoms, prohibit rights. Fascists don't want the people to talk. They don't want you talking about religion, definitely not religion, eliminating religion, right? And breaking down the family. There's a war out here. And if all you are doing is listening to CNN and MSNBC tell you about, I won't even just pick on them. I'll say the media in general, your cable media stations. If all you're doing is listen to what they're saying, pay close attention to how they present their stories. I find it's always very vitriolic. It's always an attack. It's always a character assassination of someone. Never anything of substance. Never talking about real policy issues. Never anything that has been. It's always something to do with victimhood. It's always what is being done to you. It's always about oppression, right? You want to talk about oppression? I could go on with this. I could go on. You want to talk about oppression? Let's talk about oppression under Sharia law for women in Saudi Arabia, who get whipped and beat on the streets for walking in too fast in front of their husbands. I just made this video to say, people, you moderate liberals, you kind of people who have been voting Democrat because your parents did, or because somebody told you you were black and so you had to vote Democrat and all this nonsense. Pay attention to what's being said. Pay attention to what's going on. Pay attention to all the groups that Democrats want to place you in. Oh, you're a black. Oh, you're a black woman. Oh, you're a Muslim. You're a Muslim woman. You're a Christian. All these different categories that they want to place you in. Martin Luther King fought for desegregation. He fought for desegregation. That's what the whole movement was about, is people being judged on their character and not on their outer appearance, which is a biblical principle, by the way. But this idea that we're all so different because of, the color of our skin, or just think about that for a second. Think about how evil it is to pluck people, put them in categories. Human beings we're talking about, being put into all these different little groups, and then having the media tell you should feel a certain way about these people. You're gonna let somebody tell you how you should feel about people. Just think about that. Don't be a follower. Think for yourself. Do your own research. Do your research. You don't have to hear what I say. You don't have to listen to what I say, but do your research and understand that the Democratic Party they are standing on some very, very wicked ideologies. So, thank you for listening to my rant for the day. I've been thinking about making this video for a while and just decided, what better time than driving down the street. And yeah, so thank you guys for stopping by. Thank you for listening. Bye.